From a soda thief who thinks he's in an action movie to a young woman feeding flamingos on a beach, here are 10 unusual and bizarre things that were filmed by the cameras. There is the Spider-Man that everyone knows, of course, but there is also the Snake Man. Do you want to see how he looks like? Take a look then. This man was filmed by the surveillance cameras of a gas station, probably at a very late hour of the night, while he was trying to steal a few bottles of soda. Look at how he moves from one fridge to another, crawling like a snake. Here he is climbing from behind one of the fridges. He opens very slowly and He manages to steal a bottle and a can before running away. This thief is decidedly an expert in the matter. But, wait, what took him to do all this act at the Mission Impossible? Why go to so much trouble for a simple can and a small bottle of soda? In my opinion, this man must have been very thirsty but probably didn't have any money in his pocket to buy a nice cold drink. But he must have really thought he was in an action movie, or better yet, at Fort Boyard. You really have to be devoid of common sense to do what this man did in a cotton factory. He was quietly emptying his load of small white balls in the warehouse. Nothing abnormal for the moment, you might say. But what will happen? Well, one of the bundles was so well tied that our friend had trouble untying the knot. However, he finally came up with a genius idea. Do you know what he did? He took a lighter out of his pocket and lit it to cut the knot of the bundle. Well, it could have been a wonderful idea if this man hadn't forgotten that he was in a cotton warehouse, in the middle of flammable materials. And the result of this foolishness was not long in coming. The little ball of cotton he was holding in his hands quickly caught fire, and within seconds, the entire load of cotton was ravaged by the flames. The fire spread so quickly that the workers who were there were panicked. Some of them tried to extinguish the fire by all means, but to no avail. They remained helpless in the face of the extent of the damage, watching all the little white balls that were turning black. As for our friend, well, look at how he runs to escape the fire. I hope that at least he learned the lesson. Do you like this video? Then, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all notifications and not miss anything of our next publications. Let's keep going. This man may not have expected what was going to happen when he kicked a stone pillar over a river. Look at this unusual scene that took place on a bridge in Linfan, a city in northern China. The railings fell one after the other like dominoes, before the young man's stunned gaze. The first seconds of shock passed. The latter preferred to leave with his friend as if nothing had happened. In the meantime, the 215 pillars, linked together by metal chains, continued to fall one after the other into the river along the dike, over a distance of about 700 meters. But what took this man to do this? According to some sources, the man, apparently a tourist, wanted to film himself and then publish his video on Douyin's version of TikTok. Well, we can say that his video, filmed by the surveillance cameras, was a success. But it is obvious that he did not do it in bad faith, and to prove that he had a good conscience, he even turned himself into the police. To be a prankster, you have to have imagination. But sometimes that imagination overtakes reason, and you wonder how some people can be so bold as to play dirty tricks, like the one you are about to see. As he was walking past a karaoke booth occupied by a young girl, this young man had the idea to relieve his gas in the booth. Can you imagine? To see someone appear out of nowhere to do this to you while you're focused on the lyrics of your favorite song. This young man is not lacking in guts. Not only did he let go of his flatulence, but he also held the cabin door tightly shut, blocking the poor girl in the middle of her foul smells and forcing her to cover her nose with his hand. Disgusting. How many of us have ever had the fear of our lives when a scary animal appears before our eyes? Any excuse is good for shouting, but it's even more fun when it's captured on camera. Look for example at the reaction of this lady who had the bad surprise to see a bat entering her house. Or look at this one who finds herself face to face with a raccoon. Well, it looks like the little animal was very scared too. Do you know people in your circle who have already experienced the same thing? Do not hesitate to share this video with them. After all, it's better to laugh about it, right? What if we took a little break before watching more unusual sequences? The time has come to ask you the long-awaited question of the day. Which of these countries had announced that it wanted to use emotion recognition technology in its citizens? Option A, China. Option B, Japan. Option C, North Korea. Think carefully, choose the option you think is right and wait until the end of this video to see if you answered correctly. And now, let's continue. It is often said that the wheel turns, that the evil returns to the one who does it, or that he laughs best who laughs last, etc. In short, there are as many proverbs and quotations that all mean the same thing: he who causes harm to others will in turn be in trouble. And it is true. Here is a good example that proves it. Look at how this pedestrian behaves with the driver who has just stopped at a red light. This man does not hesitate to tell the driver to stop and remind him of his duty to let pedestrians cross the road. But then, what happens to you, sir? This driver is well aware of his duty and he stopped to let you cross the road with your dog. Or didn't he? First of all, one might think that this man is naturally angry, grumpy, even unbearable. But in truth, this man has exceeded his limits since he allowed himself to make a finger of honor in the direction of the driver. What an insult. Decidedly proud of his gesture, the rude man continued to stare at the driver while walking, when all of a sudden boom. Our friend bumped his forehead against the pole. Yes, you can laugh heartily about it now, just like this driver. Moreover, the reaction of the latter didn't please our friend at all, who, no doubt humiliated, still made a final gesture by moving towards him and raising a threatening fist, as if this gesture could console him. In any case, he deserved it. So, still proud of your little finger, dear sir. Now let's forget about rude gestures and move on to something more beautiful and graceful. Get ready to see a sequence that will leave you speechless. Are you ready? Watch it. Wow, what a big gap. What grace. This young woman perched on high heels, carrying her baby in one arm and holding a stroller in one hand is really incredible, isn't it? She managed to close the trunk of her car with a splendid wide gap, and she even managed to press the close button with her heel. Can you imagine? How many people would be able to do that? Very few. And for that, you need to have the slender waist and flexibility of this young mother. By the way, do you know who she is? If you haven't recognized her, then this young woman is none other than the Russian fitness girl and influencer Anna Kanyuk. Anna, who is already a star on Instagram, is known for her magnificent technical prowess that fascinates many. With her very slender waist and long thin legs, the young woman is really incredibly flexible. But the icing on the cake was this hallucinating video that made the buzz on social networks. Well, it's true that some people are going to want to do like Anna and will train hard to close the trunk of their car this way. But hey, no doubt with no success. Not easy to do the same thing when you don't have Anna Kanyuk's legs. A few years ago, the video of a nun stealing beer bottles from a convenience store in Oklahoma, USA, made the buzz on the internet and on social networks. The nun, dressed in her religious habit and flanked by a bag, was filmed by the surveillance camera of the convenience store while she was stealing a few bottles of fresh beer and another product, probably chocolate milk. At one point, the lady can be seen slipping a bottle of beer under her dress, glance furtively from time to time, and then slowly and quietly walk away. The video was widely viewed, arousing both hilarity and shock among the astonished internet users who watched this nun flying. Everybody knows the expression that says, "The habit doesn't make the monk," right? Yes, it does. But wait a minute. What if this woman wasn't a real nun, but a thief who disguised herself as a nun so as not to attract attention and to be able to steal in peace? Because who would think that a nun is capable of stealing? Well, some will not hesitate to put forward this theory, probably because a real nun cannot afford to commit such an act. Well, that would be more logical. Here's a video that will really give you goosebumps. It happened in the city of Beihai, China. A pavement had suddenly collapsed, suddenly leaving a huge chasm in the middle of the road. A few seconds later, an arriving motorcyclist fell into this chasm, plunging headfirst into the giant hole. The man, probably distracted by his phone, had not seen the horrible sight, so he did not have time to slow down or dodge the gaping hole. What a horrible accident, you will tell me. But you know what? That man was very lucky, because fortunately, he got away with only a few scratches. In fact, he would have even gotten out of that hole all by himself. Well, feeding animals is one of the most beautiful things in life. And how? We have often seen people being very generous to our animal friends and feeding cats, dogs, chicks, turtles, and even wild animals. But have you ever fed exotic animals, like flamingos for example, in a paradisiacal place? Imagine one of these beautiful birds eating right out of your hand. You can't imagine that? Flamingos would be too shy to approach you, and anyway, they will fly away as soon as they see a human lurking a little too close to them. Well, you're wrong. The proof is in this video that made the buzz a few years ago. Check it out. How cute. And that was it. It was 10 weird and unusual moments that were captured by the cameras. Which ones amused, fascinated, or made you laugh the most? Leave us your answer in the comments. And if you know other funny moments captured by the surveillance cameras, don't hesitate to let us know. And finally, here is the answer to the question of the day. The country that wanted to go beyond facial recognition and use emotion recognition is China, of course. I hope many of you chose option A.